We've got team coverage of the deadly shooting at the Greenwood Park Mall. Thanks for joining us tonight at 10 o'clock. Felicia's with us tonight. And boy, it's been a really difficult day for the entire community, both Greenwood and what happened at the Greenwood Park Mall, and of course in Beech Grove.
Absolutely, and we're going to get you the updates of the latest, but I think that's what people have to realize when this violence happens. We talked about this earlier, that it affects everyone. And I mean, now these people who, whether you were there or not there, I mean, you have to go on and live your life. Right. And today our team of reporters have been out in the community gathering the newest information about what happened at the Greenwood Park Mall last night at 6 o'clock. So let's go ahead and bring you up to date tonight here at 10 o'clock, let you know what we know. Here are the names of the victims. Victor Gomez was a 30-year-old husband and father. He was there with his wife and 3 young kids. His wife was apparently using the restroom. Victor was standing outside when the shooter walked out of the men's room and began shooting. Victor Gomez of Indianapolis was the first victim yesterday. Seconds later, the shooter walked into the food court just a few feet away and shot Pedro Pineda and his wife Rosa, both of them from Indianapolis. The couple was sitting at a table having dinner last night in the food court. The Pinedas were the second and third victims who died. There were also 2 people who were injured last night. A 22-year-old woman struck in the leg. She survived, and a 12-year-old girl struck in the back by a bullet fragment as she was trying to run away. And I think our team did a really good job today reminding us, I mean, this could have been anybody in that Greenwood Park Mall, having dinner, shopping, being with loved ones. You'd have no idea that a shooting would unfold. I told you earlier today, my family went to the mall. I mean, when it just, I think, really hits home for all of us. Sure does. And, Scott just went over the victims' names. I think you'll see the intentionality in our newscast that we're not trying to blast the shooter, the suspect, and his name and his identity. We will share that. However, we want to make sure that we highlight the victims. That's been an internal discussion with our news team, and I think several news teams across the country. I think one of the other things that we learned today from the various news conferences, Greenwood Police and the other law enforcement agencies that responded to that shooting last night, learning the timeline. And our 13 Investigates Chief Investigative Reporter Bob Siegel joins us tonight. He's got the latest on the timeline of what happened last night at the mall.
Greenwood police say the shooter entered the mall at 4:54 Sunday afternoon and went straight to a bathroom near the food court. 1 hour and 2 minutes later, at 5:56, he emerged from the restroom and began shooting, killing 3 people. 13 Investigates has obtained radio communications from Johnson County emergency medical crews, and that radio chatter provides a detailed timeline of events as dispatchers were flooded with frantic calls from the mall.
Cars east, signaling for mall, person shot.
The first report from a dispatcher came at 5:56 Sunday night, seconds after the shooting began.
They're advising there's a male shooter. He's possibly in the food court at this time, more than a dozen people.
At the same time, an officer reported people running out into the mall parking lot.
Engine 92, medic 94, battalion 9.
An ambulance and medics were dispatched within 35 seconds as more 911 calls continued to pour in, along with a description of the weapon.
We're getting several calls from Johnson County, possibly active shooter at the Greenwood Park Mall, several subjects, possibly AK-47.
2 minutes after the first call, dispatchers share more information, including how many victims EMS crews might be dealing with.
So far, possibly 3. Our phone lines are still all lit up. We're still just trying to gather information. They're not hearing shots at this time. They're possibly by the food court. So far, we've got at least 3.
Okay, give me 3 more ambulances.
The sound of gunfire was over, and police confirmed multiple people shot.
Let's go ahead and declare this a mass casualty.
Inside, the shooter had already been confronted and killed by a mall patron. But paramedics still did not know if a shooter was on the loose, so they waited outside.
Okay, we're not going in yet until we get police escort, so just stay out here.
About 12 minutes after the shooting started, SWAT team members escorted paramedics inside to start treating the victims, those that were still alive.
We have ambulances for each of them. We have 2 DOAs we're going to leave in place.
Rescue, do you need more manpower in there?
Negative.
So that's what Bob Siegel was able to put together by talking to the first responders, the police department, and putting that timeline together. We wanted you to be able to understand exactly what happened last night.
And the police department are saying that this is something that they have trained for,
right.
Unfortunately. But fortunately, they were prepared, and this was something that they were familiar with. But, you know, you can only be so prepared. This could have gone a number of different ways.
Right. And last night at the mall, when those shots started last night, there was a man there that was shopping with his girlfriend, an armed shopper who was there, and he responded and was able to take down that gunman last night. And our Jenny Runovich brings us that part of the story.
Well, that armed bystander, Elijah Dickin, friends and family call him Eli, and you are right, so many now call him Hero, too.
Let's go ahead and declare this a mass casualty.
That was police radio traffic during the traumatic event. Police shared new information today about how Eli, the man they call a Good Samaritan, stopped the suspect. Shot him with a handgun just about 1 minute after the gunman started firing into the food court. Eli and his girlfriend Shay were in the food court after spending their Sunday shopping. Shay was coming out of the restroom when she saw a man with a gun. Family says Eli pulled her to the ground, and then police say Eli engaged the shooter, pulled out the pistol he was carrying under the constitutional carry law, and fired 10 rounds at the suspect. The suspect tried to go back in the bathroom, but instead fell to the ground. The threat to shoppers and Eli's girlfriend immediately over.
Well, I just know that I'm so proud of him for what he's done. He saved my granddaughter. I know he did. She said on the phone when she called me, she's, "Grandma, I'm okay," that Eli pushed me out of the way and told me to get down and to stay down. And everybody should be proud of him. You know what I'm saying, for what he's done. Because if not, there would have been a lot more.
Many more people would have died last night if not for a responsible armed citizen that took action very quickly within the first 2 minutes of this shooting.
Shay's grandmother clearly emotional. She says her granddaughter was simply terrified by what happened, may never be able to go into a mall again. But just like her boyfriend Eli, Shay also took action to help despite the trauma. Tonight at 6, we'll show you her heroic actions as well.
All right, Jenny, thanks. So again, that was a report from Jenny Runovich earlier tonight. We have our team of Nightside reporters working on different angles tonight. Emily Longnecker, Lauren Kostick, Rachel Krause, all bringing us new information tonight on the Greenwood Park Mall shooting. You'll see that tonight at 11 o'clock.
13 News at 11. But let's check in with Sean. He has an update on the weather. It was a wet one. We saw spotty showers throughout the day.
Yeah, and boy, I'd say Sunday was a big one.
Sure was.
We had some very heavy rain totals. Parts of Hamilton, Madison, Tipton, Delaware counties squeezed about 2 months worth of rain.
Wow, that much.
In less than 24 hours. So a quieter radar scene right now on live Doppler 13 radar. Temperatures in the mid 70s. We had a few spotty showers here. Now I will tell you, tomorrow morning, like this morning, we're going to have some more areas of locally dense fog. Could add a little time to your commute in the morning. But overall, it's going to be a quiet day. It's going to be a hot one, but just scratching the surface on what's on the way for us. We're topping out near 90 tomorrow. Heat index peaks around 95. We got the fog to get through and low clouds early in the morning, and then we'll have plenty of sunshine to wrap up the day as temperatures start to soar here. Want to show you what's going on across the central part of the country. We've got about 1,300 miles from the Texas border to the Canadian border where we have either heat advisories or excessive heat warnings. And guess which way that's moving?
Let's guess. Coming our way?
It's moving here. Yeah, we're coming up at 11. We're going to talk about which days will feature heat indices 100 to 105.
Wow.
Once again, we got several of them in the 7-day forecast.
You got a good air conditioner at home?
Yeah. Well, I got to go pray over it and make sure it's all good.
Sit on an ice cube.
That's right. So we'll get more into the heat wave and what's to come later in the week when Felicia and Sean and I see you tonight at 11. Good night.